really going to be trying their best to get things happening here and trying to get this win. So there might be a little bit of mistakes here and there, but overall these teams are good. So they will be playing very well, doing the best that they can.
Yeah, hopefully iGlory and Ezreal here can pull back some of the CS lead that he's at the moment. Even if he grabs all this, he's still roughly a full wave down. And coming back to lane with a tier and a longsword on Ezreal is nice, but Alf is just entirely enabled to keep throwing out that volley into the minion wave, poking at the Ezreal and the Nami here.
Yeah,
I think the Ashe pick is just... I think Ashe is actually a hero or a champion that's kind of underrated as far as ADs are going.
I actually agree, because their utility is so good. With the ability to just get those arrows down and lock down somebody for a champion like Skarner that can just come in and ult you back into the team. Not to mention you get that BF sword early like Alf does at the moment, and she does so much damage early. So those W's are going to hurt.
Now that Death Design has his sheen here, he's able to shove Yorick in with a little more, or shove Tahm Kench in with a little more confidence, push them all the way into this tower. Tom actually, you know, maybe it is one of those games. He's at a CS lead, but you see a little bit more action, a little bit more trading going on in the bottom lane.
Yeah, now you see some movement coming from mid lane and jungle here.
Yeah, it looks like Square One wants to try to 4-man, but maybe they've called it off. Maybe it's taking a bit too long. I think the Sleepy Trouble bubble from the Zoe came out, and maybe the fact that it missed or the fact that it was a bit too early just caused Square One to say, hey, let's back off.
Yeah, I think they already had a kind of an idea that they were coming down for that gank as well, since Rabid Raccoons was, or bot lane was starting to come back. Oh,
here it comes.
It's the first... And the first blood for Tahm Kench.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you have the Skarner channeling Predator, but honestly, I think most of the work was just done there by Beef Snake. Really good to flash over the wall, just go straight in there. And completely reduce the efficacy of the Yorick. Now, in response, Square One is really, really smart to get that Infernal Drake.
Yeah, they didn't want to lose out too much on that first blood, so they decided to respond with the Infernal Drake call, since the jungler was topside and they did have the pressure on bot lane at the moment. So good call on Square One to respond back to that.
I think that was a very smart decision from them, especially considering how hard their team can scale with an Infernal Drake. It's definitely harder than Rabid Raccoons would, although they have the Zed. Just between the Yorick, Skarner, and Morgana, they don't use it nearly as well, or the Tahm Kench, my bad. They don't use it nearly as well as Yorick, Zoe, and Ezreal, in my opinion.
Tahm Kench did just ult back into lane when he was about halfway through. Not sure why, but I guess.
I would assume to preserve the TP, because it's better to use that semi-global that you have rather than to burn your real global.
Fair enough.
Looks like Yorick might have bitten off a little more than he can chew here, though. He's completely flashless, about to get spit out under the tower. I think this is a solo. Yeah, there it is.
Weird solo kill there. Not sure why he was back there under the turret like that. Knowing that
he had the minion wave. Tahm Kench came in through the tribe rush. It's a very questionable decision making.
He also pinged that he had ulted there, and I'm not sure why he kept walking that way. But yeah, a solo kill for Tahm Kench.
So yeah, that's a 2-0 Tahm Kench in the top lane now. He had the first blood gold, he had the kill gold now. It's entertaining a very decent gold lead. Yeah,
so we will now he is putting a lot of pressure on that top turret. That top turret is at about I want to say 20% health now. If that, nope, it's going down even further.
Yeah, I mean that's those caster minions doing work there. Yeah, it's sitting below 10% health now. That tower is going to go away.
Yeah, that
Moments.
solo kill really hurt Death there. Not sure
Because now he has no flash for a while, for a bit more. And he has no TP, which frees up Beast Snake to just move around the map, especially because he almost has his Abyssal Voyage back up. He has TP advantage for Rabid Raccoons. The real question is, are the Raccoons... Ooh, that was unfortunate. That Zoe ultimate, not good enough as an escape tool.
So, yeah, this Gunner is really moving around the map, getting these kills for his top and mid laner. He knows he can get these out because Rapid Raccoons is really letting Square One push them in so that he can get these ganks off. Yeah, he's I don't know what the Elise is doing too much. Oh,
there's the Nami ultimate. That's actually a really good flash because incredible.
That was a really good
Enchanted Crystal Arrow from the Ashe coming out.
And that was a
good
really
flash
good flash. Amazing flash out there from Elise to save him from that.
Yeah, I think both. Because what happened there after the tidal wave comes out through Rama is that the black shield is already broken on the Ashe, so she immediately flashes out, which is very smart of her. But it actually turns out that it's Square that gets
They get the response turret.
They get the first turret goal despite the fact that their top lane tower was the one that was getting pressured down.
So he let that Tom Kench go down or bottom with that TP. And it allowed him to...
Here's another play coming in by the Zoe. He misses the Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Ash throws out the volley. He says, get out of here.
All right, yeah. Just deterring that Zoe is saying, get away from me. I'm not dying today. You can go back to your lanes there.
Clearing out some vision. Now, what I was going to say before we had that burst of action in the bottom lane, and now we have burst action in mid lane.
Some more action mid lane, and that is North going down to the Zed solo in mid lane.
Oh man, that is rough. I don't really think there's anything the Elise could have done there. Completely flashless. The Zed's clearly just confident.
Yeah, that was a really confident dive there, knowing that he can get that kill off and still be fine. Knowing because Zoe was still on the way back from bot lane gank, and so it was just a free kill. No. What were you going to say before you were interrupted by that?
I was going to say, if Raccoons wants to make a more coordinated play, they need to have deeper wards into the jungles of Square. Because the Tom Kench took a really bad TP there for the bot lane, which is why they lose the tower. If you have a little bit more vision set up, either in the jungle, in the tribe rush for bottom lane, maybe the gank works out. In fact, it probably does work out because if you remember where the Elise flashed out to was tribe rush.
Mm-hmm.
So, hindsight 50-50, or 20-20. But
one of those numbers.
Yeah. But you still see Raccoons with that gold lead here, almost a 2k gold lead, such as it is.
Yeah, they're looking pretty hefty on gold right now. Their 4 kills being on their mid laner and their top laner. That said, having those 2 kills is really, really gonna hurt Square One here, because that is their main damage dealer, and he got ahead early. So he's definitely going to be moving around the map now with that kill lead to help out his team get even further ahead.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, looking at the map right now, I think that Rapid Raccoons is actually getting some really good vision down right now. They're trying to get pressure back for this water dragon so that they can get this. But it looks like Square One just had the pressure over them.
Yeah.
Along with Yora coming down to help them secure
I think, here's a team fight coming out. You have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming up, Alfie, the Nami Tidal Wave coming out in response.
Square One is stuck in this pit.
They are entirely stuck. The only people they have flashes on top and bottom lane, but it looks like Rabid Raccoons calls for the back off, let Square walk out of the pit after taking the dragon for free almost. I'm kind of questioning that.
I don't think they had the people in position to contest the dragon for that.
Contest, no, but I think they really could have just shoved them in there and had them stay. You have now. I think Skarner and Morgana were a bit low, but you think about Dark Binding, you think about Skarner's ultimate.
Yeah.
Unable. But Zoe dies in return, 1 for 1.
1 for 1. Now they might be able to pick up an extra kill here. Never mind.
On the bottom lane.
This one out.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. That fight in the Dragon Pit, you had the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out. I think maybe if that had hit a more frontline target, perhaps Skarner and Morgana would have been a little bit more comfortable to go in there, cast their ultimates, try to freeze everyone up. Or at the very least force some more flashes out of Square One there.
Now I think if Morgana was a little more healthy, as you said, she could have probably gotten there and gotten a better ultimate and had them locked down in that dragon pit, because as we said, they were stuck in that dragon pit, and the only way out was to either go through Rabid Raccoons or flash over that wall. And I believe that they could have fought that.
There's the play that we were looking for. Tom Kench taking the Skarner into the back. You saw the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out from Alfie, or from Alf there. Forces the flash out from Nor. So I think that's pretty worth. You trade two ultimates, the Tom Kench Abyssal Voice and the Ashe Enchanted Crystal Arrow. If Ashe has ultimate hat, then that's not as bad as it might appear, especially because Ashe already has her Essence Reaver and the Zeal, so she has that 20% CDR, if not more, from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow with ultimate hat. Now it looks like Square here is going to start pressuring the Rift Herald. If they can get this, that's actually huge for the push. They've already taken 3 towers.
They are really working on getting these objectives here in this game.
Yeah, and it's actually their macro play that's keeping them even in gold, if not that small gold advantage.
Garner tries to go in for that kill, and he really gets chunked out. He has to get Comp Pinch eaten, and he has to get out of there, and in return has to lose that Herald, and Morgana dies on the back end of that fight.
Yeah, I think absolutely this is a case of Raccoons just getting entirely out macro. Give up 2 dragons, now you're giving up Rift Herald. Elise popping the Rift Herald immediately in the mid lane to force down the mid lane inner tower. There's no one from Rabid Raccoons to respond to this. Like, this tower is going to go down instantly. Yeah, there he goes.
So that 2K lead that Rabid Raccoons had a minute, just a couple minutes ago, is now a 1K lead for Square One, almost a 2K lead in return. Yeah,
you also see Yorick doing the split push in the bottom lane, taking down the tower here. It looks like he's going to get it. There it is.
And he gets the flash out.
Although I don't think that was a very smart flash. Yeah, that was just a pure, that was it a flashy flash?
Yes. He just wanted the highlight play of the flash over the wall.
Like, have you ever flexed? Have you ever flashed over the wall and just flex on people?
Just flex on them. Just getting you and you just flash the wall.
York has some pretty big muscles.
Yeah. He's a pretty strong man. He just flexing just a little bit.
Yeah.
So he did get that turret. So that is 2 turrets off of that 1 Rift Herald play. So that's really big for them, and now they almost, as I said, have 2K lead over top of Rabid Raccoons now. So that's a big swing.
Yeah, this was a really fast swing of gold, and I think it's really because Rabid Raccoons wasn't willing to make more aggressive plays. If you actually think about it, it's been Square that has been pressuring with those ganks, with those dives bot lane. Now, did they work out? Not necessarily at first, but
no.
The game, it feels almost entirely in their favor in the light of all this macro game, or in this macro superiority that they put out.
Yeah, the rotations are
Sleepy
really
Trouble Bubble landing onto the Tahm Kench, but unfortunately the Morgana Black Shield prevents a lot of the damage from
Square One
coming
is
through.
really searching for this kill here for the Tahm Kench, and I think they're going to get
He's
it.
going to die here. He doesn't have Flash. Yeah, there he goes.
He's gone.
Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto the Ashe. Oh, that's the one shot.
Nice. That was Pickaxe's. This, as I said during Champ Select, this is Pickaxe's comfort pick on this Zoe. He's really
back to back Trouble Bubbles, getting onto the Tahm Kench and getting onto the Ashe. Those priority targets. When Tahm Kench is dead, he's not there to swallow Ashe up and get her out of there.
Collapsing on this Garnet. I don't know.
He's dead too. I don't know why he's going for Raptors.
He's going for Raptors, and they're going to get this free Baron more than likely from off of these last couple picks. I don't.
Mid laner. Okay, so Mad Life is able to take the top lane inner tower. It looks like he's pressuring for the inhib. You see Death Design backing to respond to that immediately. Ashe Hawkshot comes out to spot them, but I don't really think that Square's going to back off here. It looks like they want the Baron, and they really know they can take it. You see the Abyssal Voyage coming out. Nami Tidal Wave. That was a great Black Shield to stop the initial knockout from Tidal Wave.
Yeah.
Forces, and here's Mad Life collapsing. Nice flash binding.
Flash binding from the Morgana here.
No, this is just pure cleanup. He's gone. That's goodbye, Ezreal.
That was
sitting there staring at the people who killed their teammates, being like, "Please, Senpai, no."
My friend. Yeah, I don't. That was a really greedy Baron from Square One. They
thought they could handle it.
Yeah, they just didn't have the damage to do it as fast as they thought they could. They did have the Zed knocking on their doorstep at the top lane, so he could have easily rotated down as he did to them to deal with that. Forgetting about the Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage to bring in the rest of his team.
And now Raccoons is able to get that equalizing Infernal Drake of their own. Skarner just walking in there and punching it, saying, "I was here. I participated.
I did it. This is me.
Someone give me my trophy for participation."
Hey man, he got his picture on there. He was the one that took it.
Skarner, with those 6 legs, he was great at soccer. Yeah. Yeah. I know sports.
No, Square One is trying to get that vision back on the top side jungle. Oh, and we do get a pause out here. Apparently, their Rabid Raccoons jungler
is DC'd.
So
unfortunate. And there he goes.
While we have this pause, let's talk about the rapid
past few minutes.
Yeah, just rapid action of these objectives here.
The rapid action of the Rabid Raccoons.
Yeah. So, you saw the couple picks they got out off the back end, going down to the bottom side of the river. They picked up the kill on the Tahm Kench, and then right after got the pick on the Ashe, and then right after that they got the pick on the Skarner, and they felt confident enough that they could do the damage to take the Baron, and they soon made them.
It just took them too long.
Yeah, it took them
Ashe and Tahm Kench respawned. They came in, entirely disrupted the Baron call there. The Morgana Black Shield stopping the initial knockup from the Nami tidal wave entirely messed them up, especially with the Ashe flashing backwards, throwing out Enchanted Crystal Arrow for the stun onto the Zoe, I believe. Yeah, it was onto the Zoe.
Yeah, it was on the Zoe.
So, with Zoe down, there's no tool to either stop them from coming in or maybe trade back a kill. And Square just had to scatter from that point, and they did. But like you mentioned a few minutes ago,
good bindings. Those guys,
like
really
not
well placed.
It wasn't just only the flash binding from the Morgana. It was also Mad Life mid laner coming in there, shadowing forward, getting the kills onto the bot lane.
Yeah, he got to clean up very easily on that fight, since he was already top lane pushing into that inhib. So as we said, that Baron was really greedy because they didn't have the damage, they didn't have the time to take care of it, so that Tahm Kench could Abyssal Voyage the rest of his team back into the fight, and Zed was able to, or Mad Life mid laner was able to collapse on them and finish up the rest of that fight and clean up those last couple kills. So they were able to turn that one around really well, and brought them back in the game, as far as, or they brought down that gold lead like significantly. Well, yeah, pretty significantly. They were down a bit because of the macros from Square One, really getting them those objectives around the map. So it's good that they brought that down to as little as possible from those last couple mistakes from Square One. Now you see Zed 4-0-2, looking really strong right now. But I do feel like they just still don't have the damage to deal with Square One in a regular fight. I just don't feel like they can do it. Now, if Morgana does get a good Dark Shield, she would be able to change the fight around, but I'm just not sure.
I mean, my issue right now actually with the Morgana is if you look at her build, it's so limited on AP.
Oh, yeah.
And considering the fact, like, both of us are support mains, both of us know how Black Shield works. You know, you need to have either more points invested in Black Shield, or you need to have more AP for that to block out more abilities. Now, has the Black Shield blocked that one clutch ability in multiple circumstances? Yes. But in a straight team fight, is it going to block Elise Cocoon and Sleepy Trouble Bubble and Nami Tidal Wave? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. It's too much.
And based on what she's building, it looks like, or based on what Ukler is building, looks either like a Ardent Censor, which wouldn't make a whole ton of sense, or a Redemption. I think the Redemption is fine. I just think that maybe in this situation you need to put a few more points into Black Shield to actually make a difference here.
Because Black Shield is the main part that they need to deal with these, or with Square One's fight potential. Because if you don't have that Black Shield up, Ash is just going to get jumped on, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're not.
Well, I mean, I don't think Ash actually gets jumped on necessarily, because you don't have like those champions that can instantaneously burst her down.
Yeah.
But if without the Morgana Black Shield, right? Like, assume that Morgana either isn't there or is dead. You know, you think about Ash, you think about Zed, either of them eat any form of CC from Square One, they're gone.
Yes.
Because Tahm Kench and Skarner are not peeling. They are not those types of tanks. They can go into the backline, they can disrupt, but they are definitely not the I will peel for you 100%, especially with a top lane Tahm Kench. With a support Tahm Kench, that's a different story, because you always have that support Tahm Kench next to his carry, always ulting the carry towards the team fight, but never directly into it. But yeah, I kind of agree with you to an extent. Like, without that Morgana, without that vital Black Shield, there are dangerous CC tools on the side of Square. Conversely, if you have that good Tahm Kench Skarner combo into the backline and you find the Zoe or you find the Ezreal, you know, Square is in a similarly bad circumstance as they were in the Baron pit there.
Yes.
Like, and that wasn't even Tahm Kench Skarner, that was Tahm Kench Ashe, and Ashe throws out Enchanted Crystal Arrow and picks up on Zoe. So, just like the gold lead right now, despite the fact that it's about 1.5k, I think between the two teams' fighting powers and the straight 5v5, it's actually incredibly close.
Yes, indeed.
We're still waiting on the jungler to come back, though.
I don't know. Yeah, we're trying to figure out how long it's going to be. Hopefully, he comes back in a pretty decent time. But yeah, I agree with you. The Ashe, as you saw, like in the bottom jungle, or the bottom river, you can see he can get one shot. Yeah. So he needs to be careful in positioning in these fights, because he can get one shot by that Zoe or Elise or the Ezreal. Any of them, if he even gets close to getting caught by that Sleepy Bubble, he will get one shot.
Yeah, I mean, when Sleepy Bubble just does that thing where it modifies damage, Oh, there's the reconnect. But yeah, when Sleepy Trouble Bubble lands, it modifies the next instance of damage onto that target. So yeah, like that's just so much burst damage that can come through, even with an Ezreal Q, say, or Ezreal Mystic Shot. Like that will do ultimate levels of damage with the Trouble Bubble onto the right target.
Yeah. So now that Skarner's back, we should be getting back into the game fairly soon.
Yep.
It looks like he is getting back into the Discord, and we should be continuing this game soon. Now, from here, it looks like Square One is trying to get back control of the topside jungle of Rabid Raccoons, so they can get that vision to
get that Baron vision.
Just for Baron, just to see if they can, possibly bait it out and see if they can force a fight there. Skarner is bot side at the moment, so I'm not sure if they're going to try and fight this here or bait them into the Baron or even just take the Baron. We will see.
I mean, I actually would say that Square is way more well positioned for anything. Skarner is nowhere near Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench's Abyssal Voyage would be up by the time he reaches Skarner.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just no way for Rabid Raccoons to fully respond. Now, game's starting back up here. Square established their vision. It looks like they're not trying to force a Baron fight yet, though.
All right, and it looks like they're going to send that Tahm Kench bot lane and let the Skarner get back with his team, because Tahm Kench does have that TP along with the Abyssal Voyage for that engage to help out his team in those team fights. No.
Oh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble finds its way onto the Morgana, but there's no response from the Zoe.
They almost caught that Zed out in that bush right there.
Yeah, if that had actually gotten onto the Zed, that would have been way worse.
So they're trying. I think Rabid Raccoons are on the back, or they're just on the back foot here, just because.
You see you see Yorick going down to respond to the Tahm Kench split push. Oh, that's not good. Oh, wait.
He was able to get out of there.
You see the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out, though. Finds the Skarner ultimate.
That is going
onto the Zoe. Zoe goes down. Skarner dies in response.
Now, Yorick looks like, or he did flash in here to try and go and get this engage, but I don't see him getting in here at all.
I mean, you actually see that Square's kind of stuck up here between the Zed and the Ezreal. Yeah, there goes Nami. Zed ports back to his shadow, gets eaten up by the Tahm Kench.
They're gonna keep going in this fight. I
think this is actually not that. No. Rabid Raccoons needs to be careful. The only person with enough health or any health to speak of is actually the Morgana. Ezreal already has his tier stacked. He already has those Muramana procs coming through with the Triforce and the Mystic shots. Now, I think it's really important that even if they had lost that, they wouldn't have been entirely messed up, as you see Yorick pop his Maiden of the Mist down there in bot lane.
Yeah.
Pretty much a super minion pushing down the lane.
I mean, your first little personal one. Now, that fight was very
interesting to say the least. I mean, we were talking about how close these fights will be between the two teams, and I think that's pretty much a highlight case.
Yeah.
Both teams going down incredibly low. You found the Zoe, but the Ezreal remained a threat long enough.
Yeah, and they were able to pick up a kill on that Skarner as well, and then the fight just prolonged. And
I think the absolute problem there was that Zed used Deathmark on Nami rather than Ezreal. You used Deathmark on the Ezreal there, and I think Rabid Raccoons actually smashes that fight because they lose their final damage tool.
I agree. Now, they did have the little dance with the Zed on the side for the majority of that fight. Mm-hmm. And I think what they needed to do there is either you go for the fight, you go for the Zed, or you just back off. because there's no way you're going to be able to fight that and be able to deal with the Zeta at the same time. So that's why he was able to eventually find his way into that fight and clean up the last kill on the end, and then walk out of there from the Tahm Kench. So they just needed to pick the battle, and then that probably would have changed things in that fight, but they did not, and they ended up losing an extra person in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, this game is starting to get into the later stages as well. You know, the clock right here, 27 minutes, the end nowhere in particular sight.
Right.
Finds a good bubble onto the Morgana, but I don't really think that anything can be done with it.
Now, Skarner did pop that Righteous Glory to try and look for the pick onto that Ezreal, but it was unsuccessful, and he was chunked a little bit for it. Now, again, they are really looking to pick this Ezreal off, and
I mean, I think Ezreal is obviously the most important target they can look for. You throw out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow from Ashe, but I don't think it does anything. Square is just trying to run through Rabid Raccoons. Tahm Kench channeled his Abyssal Voyage solo, but I think he might just get punished for this.
No,
nope.
He's just gonna let him walk that out. I don't know why.
I might have chased it down if I was Ezreal.
Oh yeah, I would have chased that down.
You just take out the Tahm Kench, you take out an engage, like a really important engage tool for Rabid Raccoons.
Yeah, that fight
ostensibly their most important engage tool.
Yeah, that fight turned really bad for Rabid Raccoons really quick.
Well, I think it's because they were split. You saw that Morgana and Skarner were on one side while Ashe and Zed were on another, and Tahm Kench had to TP into the back line, or into the back of the fight. There's no tank, or there's no main consistent tank for Rabid Raccoons to soak damage or to offer some degree of disruption.
Now, Rabid Raccoons do have the position on this dragon here, so they will take this really close.
See the Zoe try to pop over, say hi, this is my Drake, but the range just not quite enough. I think that would have been great.
That would have been really funny to watch that get stolen by a Zoe.
Like, psychologically, when you just see something get stolen that cheekily, that would just tilt me.
It hurts. It hurts.
I would feel like, that's not fair, man.
Why'd you have to do that to us?
Now you see, if Pickaxe had just taken some in his spellbook and switched to Smite, now could have been a different story.
Yeah, we would have been looking at a nice wind dragon for Square One.
Yes, the good old NA special Air Drake. I think with the changes, it's become better because it just gives you movement speed now rather than just out of combat movement speed. But you know, it's
just you're just fast. Yeah, sometimes
you see Ezreal already stacking up his second tier here. When he gets that, he already hurts. But when he fully stacks that second tier, when he has both AP and AD, his ultimate does more damage. His W does more damage. His E does more damage. His Q does more damage. Ezreal just gets more damage.
He's just like real strong boy.
I mean, it's like it's those stacking items, you know. He gets more mana from one that gives him more AD, and then he gets just as much mana from the other and gives him more AP, and they scale with themselves. If it wasn't for the time that it took to scale, it'd probably be a broken build.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still really good.
Yeah, no, like there's a reason why Ezreal is such a high priority in this meta.
Yeah, his ability to escape fights, the build that he gets where he can just build both AP and AD and not have a problem, and the damage just stacks on both. So he just becomes really strong with his alongside the evasiveness with that E. So he's just a really good champion all around.
Yeah. Gets that red buff for the additional poke.
And again, York is going to be
able to black shield herself.
Yeah, she does not want to get She doesn't want to get put to sleep.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Square keeps having York go bot side when the last remaining outer or inner turret is on top side. That is a lot of damage. There's the York TP coming in here, but I think that's a pretty dangerous TP.
That is.
Yeah, okay, not necessarily full danger, but it just gets stopped up. I don't really think that's an efficient use of TP.
Weird TP, but nonetheless, it backed Rabid Raccoons off, so...
Yeah, but I think they were already peeling backwards.
Yeah.
I think, what I'm saying is I think York could have just kept pushing bottom lane.
That would probably have been the better call there. Because I think what they wanted was...
That's a nice bubble onto the...
I think they wanted they wanted Rabid Raccoons to stick around that area just a little longer. That way they could try and make that work, but unfortunately Rabid Raccoons did back off of that too soon.
Mm-hmm.
Now these sleeping bubbles are gonna start becoming a real big problem here.
Yeah, because the bubbles will always go through those team walls there, get that extra range down.
Yeah.
You know, with being this hard pressed though, I don't think Square is making the right decision to just keep trying to poke in and shove down here. Because I think they're a little hard pressed to find something, and they leave themselves open to a play like this, coming out from Ash. Yeah.
And
although it looks pretty good for them at the moment, like Zoe's able to flash out, but you know, they have blinking health bars on the York. Ezreal's just a bit too far forward as
Ash
presses
really
Q.
good Morgana bind, but it's just not gonna help.
Yeah, but this is a situation where Square has to back off while you know, they should be pressing B. I don't really think they should pressure for Baron right now because you have Ashe at such high health. Morgana and Tom Kench as well can just heal up. Like, they're all just forced back. I think that was really, really good from them.
I agree with you on the fact that they should not have just been sticking around for so long at that middle turret. Because, as you said, it opened them up to that fight right there, which allows them to catch out multiple members of Square One, and ultimately got to that Ezreal. He was not able to cleanse. He wasn't able to flash. He's just caught and dead. So
yeah, I mean, what I was going to say is, I think in a situation like this, you should either have like a 4-1 with York pushing a side lane, or a 1-3-1. Possibly with the Zoe, maybe that might be my gold speaking, but but what I'm saying is I definitely don't think it should. No. That's a really good enchanted crystal arrow finding the Zoe there. There's nothing she can do about it. Had no flash. This means that
probably going to be Baron right there. Now Square One is more than likely going to go for this Elder Dragon to respond to the Baron call.
I mean, the Elder is equally as strong on either team, being at parity. I think the Baron might be a little more important for both of these teams. I don't think it should have been something that was just given up, especially because the Elder take is going to be slower. Okay, but they still have the smite. Skarner popping that Righteous Glory, finds it. Slow onto the Ezreal. Almost there.
Oh,
forced out.
They were forced out of there. Now, I think Square One's going to run this down because that's they were caught out there.
But it's fine because Rabid Raccoons have Baron backs. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're walking it when they have a 4-second recall.
They should. I agree. Square One really shouldn't have just let them get that. They shouldn't have let them. I mean,
they sent Ezreal to disrupt, and I think he got a lot of important damage down onto the Morgana, which is all well and good. And there's another good arrow, followed into a binding, followed into the Skarner ultimate. But Elite's able to press R and get out of there. You see Mad Life mid laner jump into the back.
Rabid Raccoons don't have the damage to kill these people as fast as they think.
You say that while Ash is shredding everyone down.
Yeah, now that I see that, yeah. They let her freeze.
No, is this going to be a pentakill? Oh, please.
Oh, Is it
Please. Oh, no.
No.
Wait, I actually think what might have happened there is Ash autoed and Tom Kench might have gotten the kill with Sunfire Cape. I would need to watch a replay on that. Because I don't think that he tried to auto the Zoe at all.
Now, that fight, I believe, took a real bad turn for Square One once Ezreal just jumped straight into the back line.
Yeah,
like, he killed that front line, and then there was just Tom Kench and Ash left. But
yeah, I think Iglory got just a bit too hypey just seeing his damage output.
Yeah.
And, he arcane shifts right into that Ash who, with Runans and then pressing focus, or popping those focus stacks with her Q, is just going to shred through the entirety of Square.
Yeah, I think the reason why the initial damage wasn't coming out is because Ash was feeling that
she was
pressure
pressured off.
Of it.
Yeah.
So once she was able to finally position herself in the back end of that fight, she was able to just dish out that damage from that Q in that volley, and she, as you saw, just shredded through that team. And then on the end there, Ezreal just popping in there to try and finish her just because he felt like he had the damage to do so.
Yeah, I mean, we were. Hey, go ahead.
Sorry. She showed why you can't just let an Ashe just sit in the back and just free shot with Runans.
Yeah, it's nearly as bad as the Jinx.
Yeah, really.
With how that worked out. We were talking about builds and KDAs. Well, Ashe is now 8-1-3 with a Mercurial Scimitar, IE, and an Essence Reaver. That's just a look at that. Ezreal's already down to 40% health just off of Ashe pressing Q and W at him. Fires out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow to force them off of the inner tower in mid lane. Long range Sleepy Trouble bubble comes out, but it doesn't really do anything. Looks like they're just going to take this mid lane inner tower and try to push in with this Baron buff. Like, this is what we were talking about. Like, why would you give Baron up for free unless you're able to force the fight efficiently? And I don't think that Square was ever, with this composition, was ever able to force fights efficiently. If anyone should have valued the Elder Drake, it actually should have been Raccoons, because they have the Tahm Kench engage tool. They have the Skarner ultimate. They have the Ashe Arrow.
Yeah. And they went for that.
Oh my goodness, the flash ult from the Skarner pulling the Zoe into the entire team. There's nothing that Square can do to save her.
That was really, really good really good response on that, or not response, but really good judgment call on that. To know that you can.
Actually, you mentioned response there, and I think that it actually is a bit more of an automatic response. Like, oh my god, she's out of position, go, go, go. Now the Elise gets caught out, able to jump up into the sky, removes herself from the fight over a bit, but it still ends up getting the kill with his ultimate. Yora pops Made into the mist to try to stall them out, gets his super minion out there. Ezreal still throwing out his mystic shots to try to dissuade Rabid Raccoons from fighting any longer.
Still full HP.
Still full HP, shooting down the mid lane inhibitor tower. Now they can just take the inhibitor, because bot lane, you see the super minions coming in. Square can't just let those minions push in onto the Nexus, but, looks like they
let it go.
Just have to let go, yeah.
No. I'm trying to think of what Square One can do to pull this lead back. Because they're getting picked multiple times in a row. That fight mid lane after giving up Baron really hurt them, because they all lost their Elder Dragon buff, and they were just able to pressure in that mid lane because bot lane's open and they have the Baron buff, so they can just push through with no problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that just shows why they should not have let them have that Baron for free.
Yeah, because the Elder buff just doesn't last nearly as long as Baron does. And, because of that, playing around with Baron buff is a lot more forgiving than playing around with Elder buff. Like, you take Elder, you need to force the fight. Yes, you get a huge influx of gold. Yes, your team becomes scarier. But if you don't take that fight and you don't play it out well, then, you still leave yourself open to losing. And that's the other thing that I think a lot of people don't think about taking Elder, is that Elder, when you take it, you force this danger, because it really means that you're you want to force a fight. Now, if you can take Elder for free, it's not that dangerous. But yeah, I think there's something to be said about just prioritizing Elder Drake and letting Baron go for practically nothing in that case.
I agree. It just made no sense to make that call to just let Baron go. Now, can they make up for that call and find a way to do something about this?
I mean, I think you just really need to do something about the Ashe. You take Ashe out of the equation of Rabid Raccoons, and their team has very, very little at the moment.
Now, this Morgana is doing a really good job of keeping that Ashe alive, so I'm not sure how they can really get to the Ashe, because they have a really good front line. They have the Skarner, they have the Tahm Kench. Tahm Kench, anytime the Ashe even gets remotely low, he can just eat her and walk out of there.
Yeah,
so,
like I agree. I'm just saying, like, the Ashe is that one factor that needs to be taken care of. Oh, goodbye.
Oh god, goodbye, Ezreal.
I mean, I'm kind of curious. Oh wait, no, you can't cleanse the suppression, can you?
Nope. They made it to where you can't.
No, so yeah, so this is entirely on iGlory for not building a QSS.
Yeah, I don't see why he doesn't have it. Like, I get
his
the
last
Ezreal.
item is a Borg.
There's no reason to have a Borg. Why?
Like, I don't think Borg makes any difference against their team composition.
Not at all. Because you're not dueling anybody like that.
Like, he needs the Mercurial Scimitar. He needs the QSS.
I don't
even off Mercurial Scimitar, you get lifesteal. I don't think it's a great decision by any means.
No, they are. Square One is able to pressure these guys off.
Yeah, but in exchange, they just lose inhibitor over to minions.
And they're possibly going to lose that Nexus turret because those minions are breaking down on that turret.
In fact, you see Square just calling for the Elder again, but you see Ezreal in bottom lane. Like, do they get the Elder again? Yeah, maybe. And second Elder is pretty strong, but Ezreal is separated from the fight. If Square can get in here, this is going to be absolutely disastrous.
They're gone. They're
the enchanted crystal arrows. Zoe forced to use Zanya's already. They're just waiting for Ashe to get here. She's going to be here in a few seconds. Here she is. Zoe goes down. This is disastrous for Square. I don't know why they sent Ezreal back.
They sent Ezreal back. That's their main damage for this dragon, and once they send them back, that's just a free engage because they have Tahm Kench Abyssal Voyage, and they can send multiple Rabid Raccoons members into that dragon pit and get that fight easily because they don't have the damage to deal with it.
Yeah, that was a monumentally terrible move from Square. Ezreal is your high damage dealer. Your mid laner is good for burst, but Zoe is terrible at taking objectives. Even with a Lich Bane.
Even really poor call from Square One there, and it really cost them there.
If anything, they should have sent Yorick back, especially because Yorick has TP.
Yeah.
That's just a purely terrible level of decision making from Square. And this game is pretty much run away from them because now this is pretty much a free Baron for Rabid Raccoons.
They get a free Elder and a free Baron off of poor decision making from Square One. So more than likely, after they take this, they're just gonna
just shut down mid lane.
They're gonna shut down.
You see the TP come out from Yorick here. I don't know why. There's no fight to force, and he was TPing into his teammates.
He's decision making. This decision making from Square One is really questionable here.
I think you know what? I don't want to say it, but this kind of smells like the tilt and desperation.
Possibly.
They're like, oh, someone needs to go back. Someone needs to respond to the minion wave. And then Ezreal's like, okay, I'll go. I can clear it really quickly. And then everyone else just runs towards the Elder Drake. And it's like,
But then they don't realize the damage.
You kind of forget that the person who's going to kill Elder Drake fastest on your team is the Ezreal.
Yeah, so...
but overall, just the decision making from Ezreal to not have QSS into this team, like, yeah, sure you have cleanse, but that just means that Skarner's going to ult you, and you can't cleanse that.
Yeah, and even if you get away from the Skarner, you still have to deal with Morgana. You still have to deal with Zed getting on you. You still have to deal with Tahm Kench on you.
Yeah, so, and there you go. There's another flash pull from the Skarner onto the Ezreal. Like, Ezreal still has cleanse, but there's not a dang thing he can do about it.
The cleanse doesn't do anything against Skarner, and Skarner is just flash ulting him.
It looks like this looks to be game coming in here.
Yeah, this is the game.
I really don't think there's anything that Square can do to stall this out. No. Yeah, this looks like it's it.
We're just gonna wipe this one.
Yeah, because they have Baron and Elder. There's no way. Yeah, that's game one.
That's gonna be game one. Going over to Rabid Raccoons.
Morgana throwing down the wards.
Yeah, a lot of poor decision making in the later game or later into this game, and it really cost them this win. The early game of Square One and the mid game was looking really strong.
Yeah, especially with that incredibly great macro.
Yeah, they were really moving around the map really well, but eventually it just came to the later game and it just didn't look well. They didn't move properly, and it hurt them. It really showed that it hurt them a lot because they made poor decision making, and it lost them multiple objectives, multiple fights for no reason. And especially the Ezreal not picking up a Mercurial Scepter, it made zero sense to pick a Bork over that because Skarner's just gonna flash ult you on cooldown, and you're not.
What's your Bork gonna do against that? Like nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, at that point, you're either asking, hey, Nami, can you build a Mikhails? And Mikhails is something that Nami can definitely build. But, you don't see a Mikhails on Nami. You don't see a QSS from Ezreal. In fact, I think Nami should have built a Mikhails no matter what. All the CC coming out from Rabid Raccoons.
And not to mention the fact that most of the later game into that game, Ashe had no threat. No threat at all. She could just sit back and chill and just throw her Q up and volley and ult, and she's fine. She just gets the free shot, and they couldn't do anything about it. And that's really bad because your Ezreal's getting pressured. Your Ezreal's getting jumped on. And whereas on Rabid Raccoons, Ashe is just free to do whatever she wants.
And like the real highlight of that was the fight at the mid lane inhibitor for Rabid Raccoons. It looked incredibly good for Square going in. Ashe forced back, but because she's forced back, she's able to stay alive. The moment Ezreal Arcane shifted forward, he dies to the flurry of arrows that Ashe throws into his face. Like honestly, I think that they just played out their composition better, and Square made really, really, really bad mistakes, especially in terms of decision making.
I also feel like the team composition of Rabid Raccoons scaled better in the long run. I think they scaled better. I think they performed on their champions better. Everything, they just played the later game so well, and it showed.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well.
All right. Well,
now we need to get into
going straight into the second game lobby here.
We should probably tell them that we're ready. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Oh darn, he answered for me. I'm sorry.
What's that?
No, in the chat I said.
Oh.
It was a mistake. It was a mistake. Please don't fire.
Fire.
This is my first gig on this job, please.
Please. No, not like this.
I'm having fun. Please, no.
Yeah. It's pretty fun.
I still go to UMBC, but thank you.
Yeah, so let's go over here at the chat for a second just to see. Yeah, that Skarner played really well in that game in the later end. He really showed the power or the strength of the Skarner pick with that team comp. So.
Yeah, I mean, you see the chat commenting on Square One building properly. You see talking about the Skarner. Like, yeah, those... I think in the last two fights, Skarner finding the flash ultimate onto the Ezreal. really made a huge difference there.
Made a very huge, alongside the really bad call on the Elder Dragon twice in a row. Really poor call on the dragons.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so let's turn the clock back a little bit, right? Right, and talk. What if Square does get that second Elder Drake? Maybe even with just the 4 of them there, that second Elder Drake burn is so strong, perhaps it does force Rabid Raccoons to have to run away. But I don't really think that it's still a worth trade. I think that you still need the Ezreal there. You should have sent back the Yorick, kept the Ezreal with you, because even if you have Ezreal there, you have the additional ability to burn down the Elder Drake. You have the additional likelihood of taking Elder Drake, and then that also means you would have your Elder Drake Ezreal in that fight with you. So, just questionable decision making coming out from Square One.
Now, there's a person in the chat saying that if they went to the Baron, they wouldn't have won the fight. Now, it's not about winning the fight. It's about backing them off of the Baron.
Yeah, we're not saying that, oh, yes, they definitely could have contested and taken Baron over it. It's really just, if you think about, what you said, force them off, threaten them with, if you try to take Baron, and if you commit to taking Baron, you are going to take so much damage from Baron, we're going to kill you afterwards because we're all here. So you have to back off.
Yeah, and so instead of just giving up that Baron for free, it's just, you got to fight for this Baron.
So heading into Game 2, do you think that Square adjusts their bans from more meta bans to, what they had to play against, or what might be more comfort bans on the side of Rabid Raccoons?
Now, I really feel like Square One needs to focus on not allowing them to get that, like they had last game, where they allowed them to get that full engage, and the possibility to just flank every fight from the Tom Kench. Yeah.
So, well, you already see the elimination of one of those key tools the Rabid Raccoons composition last game, the Morgana.
And I don't think Rabid Raccoons even needs to change their bans, because they put them in a weird composition, and they were allowed to fight, and they might have lost the early and middle game as far as macro and the objective went, but they were able to regroup, realize that they had the late game team, and they were going to be able to scale and be able to fight efficiently, and move around the map properly and win. So I think they're gonna keep their same bans mostly, and
I don't think ban wise, or pick wise, I don't think Square showed anything that Rabid Raccoons is particularly afraid of. I mean, maybe the Ezreal, but that's just I'm not even sure if that's iGlory on Ezreal, or that's just the Ezreal build. But you can see there with the Tom Kench ban, they removed 2 tools. And there goes the Rakan pick. That
I'm not surprised.
OP support.
They really, their main focus there was, okay, you banned Morgana for us, cool. We get the first pick it, because you're gonna allow it to happen. And Uplar loves Rakan. I looked at the OPGG of him before this match, and he is really solid on there.
Well, I think it's smart to take away the Xayah from Raccoons, because Alf does actually play a lot of Xayah as well.
Yes, he does. He has a 63% win rate.
Yeah, so taking that tool away, Master Yehover. Okay, I was going to say, wow.
Now they really wanted to deter them, or Rabid Raccoons, from getting that same comp.
But just off of Rakan's an engaged tool in himself. I think
I don't think they wanted that Skarner Rakan combo.
Okay, that's true.
It's like the Tom Kent or Skarner combo. They don't want that happening again.
Yeah, what I would say personally is that, of the 2, if you actually asked me of the 2, which I would prefer to have, Skarner or Xayah or Rakan, I would say Rakan every single time.
Yes.
Not just because of his tight stomach. but just because of off that engage potential.
Yeah. He not only does he have a nice body, he has a nice engage and a nice team fight, and their team is looking really strong here.
This is a tanky boy team coming from the Rabid Raccoons.
I would not be surprised if they went with if Caitlyn does not get banned here. I would not be surprised if they either pick Caitlyn or Twitch or Varus or something.
Well, this is going into the ban phase already, so yeah, I think you're right. You want to ban out that long range AD like a Caitlyn, Twitch, or Varus. That would still leave Ashe up, though.
Yeah, and that'll be even more utility and range and damage that
I mean, like just off of Rakan, Trundle, and Nautilus, though. If not Ashe, I would actually say just go for the Jinx, go for that hyper carry because you have such a strong level of engage. And tools, that can peel for you. Kled is a response to the Nautilus pick because the Nautilus pick's almost certainly top lane. Nautilus does a surprising amount of damage with Emax.
Yeah, he does. I've never seen Death play Kled, so I don't know how I feel about it. I'm really surprised at it, but I mean, I guess it works with the Skarner pick.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. Noxians, I hate those guys.
But, yeah, as far as the team goes, I don't think Des is gonna perform properly on the pick because he doesn't play it.
Yeah. Okay. So, Lulu, Janna ban, targeted Roma. Does the Soraka pick here?
I don't think I like this Soraka pick. Yep.
I was going to say, Soraka is dangerous. Like, against reliable engage like Nautilus or Khan, are you going to venture a Soraka pick and make your comp, like, so reliant on her healing? I really like the Karma. I agree with you. Because it gives you more engage. Like, you know, if you have Kled ult and you just have Karma and Skarner just run behind him.
Now, what I think what Square One is going to try and do, they want to try and fight in these little small corridors and these small areas so that they can get the maximum damage that Zaya provides, along with the Karma, the ult shields, and the Kled and Skarner.
And it's harder to get away from Karma's bind from her W.
Now, on the return side, Rabid Raccoons also has a really good team
for fighting in corridors. No.
Yes, so this will be also a really good game. These team counts are both really solid.
I will say I'm actually kind of surprised with the Ezreal pick from Alf. Like, I think, okay, well, probably because he doesn't play James, but like, what I would say is, you still have Sivir open, you still had Caitlyn, you still had Sivir, you even had Tristana open. He has played Jinx before one game this year, but yeah, like I'm not saying Ezreal is ever a bad pick. Like, the final pick from Square is Talia.
Okay.
Would you like to make your small corridor even smaller, sir?
Let's just block off this so that you can't get away from this small corridor. You're locked in. Yeah, nice. Have fun getting over this wall. Actually, 3 of the people in Rabid Raccoons have abilities to get over the wall, so the wall's not going to do too much.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if the Nautilus pick was actually an Ornn, and Ornn could just headbutt the wall and just like, okay, let's get out of here.
Oh man,
no, that would be pretty bad. Like,
yeah.
But, okay, so what I would say is, I mean, I know you know Pickaxe pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 types of Talia players. There's the Talia that looks like it's Bjergsen smurfing, or it's the Talia that forgets that she has ultimate until the last 5 minutes of the game.
No. I can't really give insight on that because
Like this is almost an LCS comp that
yeah,
we're looking at. These are LCS comps almost.
yeah,
Like definitely on the side of Square, I would say.
these are really good team comps. I like them both. They're both really solid. Now I'm sure. Oh, and you see Ezreal.
Oh, it's TP Ezreal.
Yep.
Going for that MSI strat.
Yeah.
Try to get the double tears in there. He's going to be crying tears of joy if he wins this.
now, I do feel I'm pretty sure. I hope that Elf realizes that he's gonna want to have to pick up that QSS. Because as you saw, iGlory just did not want to build it, and it really hurt him.
Yeah, like that just because of the Skarner, you need the QSS. Because what other thing? Like, there's only one other thing that I think you can QSS, or maybe two from the side of Square. One of them is Bear Trap on a rope from Fled, and the other one is
Xayah Root.
Xayah Root, and also the Karma Root.
Yeah.
So yeah, three more things, but
I don't know. I just can't stop thinking about that last game. The Ezreal. Hey. I don't understand
it's
it.
It's over, man. It's a new game.
God. I know.
It's a new game. iGlory's not on Ezreal anymore, man. He's on Xayah. He can dodge stuff with his ultimate. It's okay.
We don't have to watch it anymore.
No more tears. Actually, just 2 more tears because we have Ezreal. But like, talking about the matchups, I think seeing the Skarner pick really motivated Long to go for the Trundle.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I don't really think he has viable targets to ult. I don't know how between Kled and Skarl a Trundle ultimate works. Just because it doesn't count for both of their health bars or just one. Yeah. But Long is probably just looking to ult the Skarner in most cases, especially if you see the Skarner try to flash in for the ulti and then Long ults him. That can punish the Skarner really, really hard, no matter how tanky the Skarner is.
Right.
I like Nautilus. I think, once again, Nautilus is someone that's underrated, mostly because he's a tank. But, with that 80 mana he got back a patch or 2 ago,
yeah,
he's actually able to spam his E quite consistently, push the wave in. And just spamming that E gets out a fair bit of damage.
Now, you did bring up Nautilus does a surprising amount of damage, and it's true. He does. And he's able to duel most top laners. Like the fact that he gets that, or with his shield on his W, he gets that shield and he's able to smack you. Then he gets the E and it does pretty good damage.
Yeah, there are actually Nautilus mains out there who go PTA or Conqueror because they know that Nautilus has such good consistent damage output. Now, of course, we don't see it here from Beast Snake.
Yeah,
he's going the smarter man thing.
Yeah, I don't think he's going for the.
Having personally tried it, I'm gonna say you should probably leave that for normals.
Yeah, I don't think he's really going for the solo spells. I think he's mostly going for I'm gonna be a tank. I'm gonna hit R. I'm gonna hook. You're gonna get locked down, and we're gonna kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just gonna frontline and do everything he can to lock down.
Time to see if we have a series on our hands.
Yeah. So this is the decider game. If we go to game 3, or if we have Rabid Raccoons as our 10th team in season 5 of P-Cup. So hopefully we have another really good game on our hands.
Yeah, pretty standard.
5 point.
Yeah.
Standard 5 point here.
Everyone is just looking at each other menacingly.
Yeah. It's like, hey man, Long's like, hey man, I was playing that last game. So, yeah, nothing too special coming out here.
Well, apparently, Norp's emotes were broken during Clash. I don't quite understand how that's possible since no one was able to play Clash, but...
Yeah, it's probably just a meme he's throwing out. didn't even know what this one means. They're just talking about their little emotes.
Okay. I don't think we can see those.
I don't think so. Oh no, we can on some.
Okay.
So here we go, going into the laning phase. Another typical clear.
Yeah, normal jungle pathing. I'm actually semi-disappointed.
Why is that?
Because you, as Trundle, you have red buff. Like, I think Trundle, let me see what he took. Yeah, okay, so he has Q. Oh wait, he didn't assign a second point. Okay, yeah, okay, he has QW. Like, you have QW, you can match Skarner's dueling potential, especially if you just run straight to the shrine, or straight to the scuttle, take the shrine.
You got an early gank coming.
You force that going away. Early gank, yes, doesn't actually force anything out. CS remains the same. I don't think that Skarner is exactly the most poignant of early ganks.
Yeah. I think he just wanted to just show like, hey, I'm here, level 2. You can back off a little bit.
Can I have my participation trophy now?
Yeah, just saying like, hey, I want to join in on the fun in it. Like,
these Skarner players and their participation trophies, man.
I know, man.
Well, Alf taking a huge bit of damage here. This time it's iGlory and Rauma that have taken the higher damage bot lane. Considering the fact that it's TP Ezreal, like, this is kind of expected, right? You know, Ezreal doesn't have the safety of the heal. Instead, he has the safety of the TP, which is just to say, this is a semi-get-out-of-jail-free card. Oh, now here comes the gank in top lane. Unseated the Kled, but that looks like it's going to be it.
Yeah.
With the dismount pushing him over the pillar. It's a bit hard for Beast Snake and Long to keep going there.
Now, they did get a lot of damage off on that gank, so... mini Kled, or just Kled without Skarl, not the happiest just farming. No, he's not.
Very hard pressed. He actually wants to get up in the face of enemy champions so he can get Skarl back.
And they're just gonna sit back. Skarner's actually gonna,
he's getting spotted out, yeah.
Yeah, but he was definitely looking for that return gank on that, so that he could pick up that kill. Now
it looks like Death is about to get his Skarl back, though. Yeah. Just using his mini shotgun there. It's like
really want to get that back.
It's like, I stole this from Graves. But no, this is an absolute underestimation of the damage of Nautilus. Look at that.
I was really worried about why he was taking that fight.
Here's the gank coming in bottom lane, Long right onto this Dia, forcing the flash out.
Another flash.
Gets the W straight on. Now, no flashes in the bottom lane. We'll see if they can do anything with that later, though.
Yeah, we'll see if Long can punish that double flash down from bot lane.
Grand entrance.
Now back to I really feel like even though he has a really big wave now, but Death really can't fight that Nautilus. I'm really curious as to why he fought that
tried to go
just getting his Skarl back.
Well, what I am going to say is I think that another issue behind what makes Nautilus underrated is that players don't understand his damage.
Yeah.
They don't understand that that when Nautilus presses W, it's not just an auto attack reset. It's not just magic. It's not even magic damage on hit. It's a dot.
Yeah, it's a dot,
so,
and I love it.
It's a dot, and it's an AOE. Like, it's
really
it's
good.
rough.
It really helps. Like you would think like Nautilus. He is a tank. He has a good hook.
He's played more often as a support at the moment than as a top laner.
No, but he has the ability to duel you.
Yeah, look at this. Like, he's just walking up into him. As long as Nautilus has mana, like, he can duel you. That's really the adage.
Death might want to be careful here because he's gonna get his Skarl back here soon. But Nautilus will be 6 soon. And
well, I mean, I would say you have the Skarner. He's dismounted already. Come on.
Yeah.
The Predator does nothing here because Skarner's only 5. He doesn't have Impale up. I don't know what iGlory's doing so close. Rakan Grand entrance into the Ignite. Glory's almost certainly going down here. There's the first blood.
First blood on the Alf down in the bot lane. Not sure why they took that fight.
It looked like Glory was just ridiculously out of position.
Yeah.
And there's the Grand entrance again, right onto the Karma. Like, both of them didn't have flash.
And they're
you know, a reasonable player will take that engage every day of the week.
All day. And they're just stepping up too far, and they're not respecting the Rakan Grand entrance, like, range. It has a pretty far range on that.
Yeah, so, and despite being the higher damage bot lane, Glory is now in a 10 CS deficit in top lane. Death Dragon is at a 10 CS deficit. In mid lane, there's another 10 CS deficit. Like, not only are you losing on kills now, you're also just straight up down on farm across all lanes. North is going to have to figure out a way, once he hits 6, he is 6, to get his lanes back into this.
Yeah,
because this is a pretty bad situation for his lanes.
Especially in the bot lane, because, like, now that they don't have flashes, they're at a really, really high risk of getting...
I really don't understand why Dragon keeps going for these fights. Like, yes, you proc Conqueror, sure. But, you know, if you are not necessarily able to do anything with this, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. Yeah, he's getting some pretty good poke down, but he can't... realistically, you can't fight him. You can't.
Okay, there's the Grand entrance with the Trundle gank again. Both of them still don't have flash. Karma's about to go down. There's the slow coming out. Gets chomped on.
They're gonna let Ezreal take that one.
Goes down once again. This is getting bad.
Why are they
getting very, very bad?
I don't see why the Square One bot lane is pushing up so much with no flash and no.
This is terrible in top lane too. Death's Design is just gonna get completely soloed out here, but. That's tragic.
But now he's gonna die for it. Yeah.
Okay, well, he almost got soloed.
Yeah, really close fight.
If anything, I think everyone can understand. I have a bit of a bias for Nautilus.
Yeah, I can see.
But hey, that almost happened.
Yeah, like we were saying, like Nautilus is okay with dueling. Like he's okay at dueling in a solo aspect because he has the damage, he has that dot, he has the shield, he can deal with any type of duel or top lane, because he can deal damage and people don't expect the damage from him. And it showed. Like if Skarner wasn't there, that was a dead flood.
Yeah, and at the very least, like both their flash gets burned, like. It's 100% in Nautilus's favor in a straight 1v1 there.
Yeah.
Now, you know, with top lane being a bit better for Square One now, they're facing this situation where bottom lane for Rabid Raccoons, Ezreal's already 2-0. He has 2 of his 3 components for Triforce, stacking his first tier already. He went for magical footwear, so he didn't have to pay for his shoes. Because he goes to that frequent fan club or whatever. Sorry, membership rewards. There we go.
Yeah. He got some free boots. He frequently shops at Famous Footwear, so they gave him a free pair of kicks.
It's actually Zappos even.
So.
Well, yeah, okay, now top lane, Trundle's here, Skarner's here too. Do they still go for this? I don't think they should. There's the Trundle ultimate, hold on to the Skarner. Skarner becomes super squishy off of that. Bear Trap on a rope does absolutely nothing for disruption. There comes the depth charge. This is a double kill for the Trundle.
That is tragic. Like, I don't see, that's what we were talking about. The Nautilus can deal with that. Because he barely took any damage. Look at his health.
Yeah, I mean, like, his W gives him more damage and a huge shield. His E is a straight damage. His Q is an engaged tool. Now this is just the Rift Herald.
Yep.
And I'd have to say it looks like there's some tilt coming through right now
and then,
for Square.
And along with, like, Skarner coming in, yes, Skarner comes in to help, right? You have Trundle ult. Trundle ult nullifies Norb entirely, or nullifies that Skarner. So it's just really bad for them to keep going on that fight rather than just running out the second he shows up and they see that Trundle's there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think you see the Trundle there. It's like, okay, like we back off now. Like, I don't think that. I understand why they went for the play. It's just they lost so much off of it. You know, they lost Rift Herald. They lost more pressure top lane.
Mm-hmm. And now that's 3 kills on Trundle.
But Skarner finds the Impale onto the Rakan, but he gets the Grand Entrance and his ultimate off. Doesn't really do anything, though, with the Taliyah ultimate coming through. The Weaver's wall blocking them off.
Oh, and Ezreal has
making the Rifts great again.
Alf, someone having the flash off.
Long is not scared to just throw his pillar down, get up in their faces.
Pickaxe also has a flash there.
Yeah, Pickaxe has no more mana. Like, now the Lost Chapter mana regen, he's able to get back in, but that had to flash out because of the Trundle pillar and having 0 mana to speak of. Now you can also see the Azir Mad Life mid laner collapsing in. If he can get a good Shurima shuffle here, they're gone.
They don't have any flashes.
He's waiting for it. He's waiting for it. Oh, only gets 1. Almost picks up Pickaxe.
Really close. But
that heal coming through.
That's a lot of summoner spells getting used in that bot lane.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah,
now you call in the Rift Herald to push in the bot lane. You potentially get 2 turrets out of this. You're definitely getting 1.
They get 2, I believe, because you have.
No, I think Skarner's going to come respond to it in time. It's definitely 1.
Yeah, they'll get 1.
And Nautilus is not pushing top lane in any harder because Cled's coming back. So it's just 1. Yeah.
But again.
But still, it's a massive loss of pressure. Skarner loses his blue buff for it instead because he has to be careful about the Rift Herald.
So they really have to they have to play these fights better because they got the Rakan thing. All right, that's good. Now, what after? You don't have to keep
long a bit overextended.
Very they've overextended. And they paid for it because
there's the Rakan Grand Entrance onto the tags Skarner and Taliyah. And she pays for it with her life. Looks like Skarner's not getting out either.
Yeah, 2 people without flash, and they get caught in the river for whatever reason. And there's
okay. Well, I think this might be not that great for the Nautilus here.
Yeah, I don't think he wins this.
He needs his. This is not good. He's out. The remount from the Kled coming through there is just really getting him like it would just get any other top laner.
Mm-hmm. And he knew he probably wasn't going to be able to flash, so
that's not a good idea from Kled. He has no ultimate. I don't understand.
Another really bad decision making call the decision making and the calls on this team right now are not very great.
Like, they can slow it down too. Xayah scales really well into the late game. Taliyah scales really well into the late game. They don't have to be going for these really aggressive plays. I don't understand why Death Design just walks up there into 4 people and says, "Hey, look, I'm Kled."
Yeah, and that might have humbled them a little bit. Hopefully. That just made no sense to even do.
I mean, maybe it was the solo kill. He was like, okay, I just got a solo kill, I can do this.
He's feeling a little cocky, I guess, but...
Beast Snake found the engage, but he doesn't... Nothing to follow up with.
He has no follow-up. But you saw the damage he put down on that Karma, though.
Oh yeah, she went down to like 60%, chewing on a health pot. Looks to be fine now, but...
So, right now, you have a Taliyah coming down mid lane just to slow down that push mid. I don't
really think it does a whole lot. I don't really think that was the greatest use of a Taliyah ultimate. Because typically when you try to use that, like, you're trying to also set up for your teammates to get around on the flanks.
Mm-hmm.
Or to pin them up against the tower, and neither of those things happened. It looks like Pickaxe just threw out the Taliyah ultimate because he could. Or maybe just as a way to stall out to get the back in, but still.
I think he wanted to stall.
There's the entrance into the charm.
Kled again.
Kled going down, multi-man knockup.
3-man
the pullback on the feathers turns the fight, but Azir comes in here.
Azir soldiers really
sends his soldiers in.
Now,
Brings in his National Guard,
like
the
we were
blue
just
side.
saying, the small corridors like that is what we were talking about in Champ Select.
Yeah.
Because, yes, Square One has Zaya, they have Talia, they have Karma. Really good for small area fights. But
so is Azir.
Rabid Raccoons, yeah. They have Azir, they have Nautilus, they have Ezreal.
Even the Trundle Pillar. Like, the Trundle Pillar, like, can just completely disrupt. Like, these fights in the small jungle corridors can be incredibly dangerous, and considering the fact that it's Rabid Raccoons that have such a good lead at the moment, they're the ones who can afford to make a few mistakes in these corridors. It's nearly a 5k lead, right? It's 4.3. So it's 4.3 at 17 minutes. It's a pretty substantial gold lead. Even though the towers are tied, the dragons are tied, that's just all off of kills and CS. Yeah, Rift Herald's not on the map anymore. It was used very early. Let's check which dragon is next. It's another Cloud Drake.
Yeah, I think, I believe that Square One's probably going to try and position around that because it sort of helps them as far as engaging goes. Because it gives Skarner that extra move speed.
But Skarner's not going to be able to get that extra move speed if it's going down.
Oh, they get caught again.
Skarner able to flash out.
And they're just going to walk.
Oh, here's the Kled for the re-engage. I don't think it's going to hit, though. Oh, it hits the Nautilus because he walks into it. And, pulling the Talia, Trundle Pillar, dismount the Kled. There's the ultimate. Oh,
and the Azir
finds the Emperor's Divide.
Oh, that was a really good read.
This is really strong for the Azir.
Azir, I don't think he can pick up the card.
Oh, he almost did.
Really close.
You see the friendly MIA pings going down on their mid laners bodily.
Friendly spams of the question marks there.
Hey, they were from his teammates. They have to be friendly. Your teammates would never be toxic to you.
Yeah, no toxicity here, all right? But, yeah, so, basically, Skarner just got caught walking around the jungle. He got out, and they tried to respond, and it turned back around on to Square One. Again, they're just like every fight's just going on the side of Rabid Raccoons here.
Yeah, I mean, just small advantages to be eked out, but it looks like that Death Design's going to get this mid lane tower, get that tower advantage. There's still a bit of a gold deficit here. Dragon coming up in a minute, Baron going to be spawning in 30 seconds. I think the problem that presents itself, at least for Rabid Raccoons, is that their ability to push in isn't that great. Ooh, that's a really good pillar to interrupt Skarner's engage onto Azir there, denying the chance for Impale.
That's going to happen a lot, because they have the ability, they have that Trundle to disrupt that.
I mean, the Trundle's already 6-0, right?
6-0.
He has a Cinder Hulk. He's working on his Hydra. He has Zeke's Convergence already.
And then you have
looks like it's down to Ezreal. Yeah.
As you can see, Ezreal made the really good call really early.
Yeah, getting that early QSS because he needs to be able to get out of the Skarner ultimate. Looks like Rabid trying to bait, but it also looks like Square's trying to. I don't know why Square's trying to bait. They don't have the vision on this bear.
Square had the vision on them with the little cheeky ward on the side of the Baron now. They do have
caught up in the mid and the back. Okay, so both top laners getting caught up. Wait! Skarner let Uklar actually get charms onto his team because Uklar was ulting while he got impaled.
Yeah, but the Talia ult really helped that because if that Talia ult
actually stalled out. Yeah, it stalled out perfectly.
If the Talia ult didn't go through there, that
Square is dead.
Yeah, Rakan had that ult. He charmed about 3 of them at the end of there, and they would have died. So really good ult out from Pickaxe there to deter that fight from going any further. and really saved his team.
Gotta say though, Norp, do not pull an Altinger Con, please.
Yeah, please, never again.
That could have been pretty bad.
Mm-hmm. Now that one, that was just the battle of the top laners going too far.
Long looking for the engage onto iGlory.
I think they're just gonna.
I think he's just a tad too squishy though to pull this off.
I don't think this Skarner can really just walk in.
Skarner himself is not very tanky either. I mean, he has Tabi, I believe.
Yeah, yes, Tabi and Cinderhulk and Giant.
Yeah, look at how fast the Collette's just getting dismounted there. It's just not that good. iGlory's already practically dead. He needs to get out here.
And that's the sign going down just because he just got
Uklar going in with a grand entrance in the ultimate, but he's just a bit too far forward for any of his team to help out there.
I think
that was a max range hook.
That was really good.
And the charge. That's dead. Mm-hmm.
Now, I like the idea of the Rakan W or grand entrance going in.
Yeah,
but it was too soon.
He got a bit too hypey there. He could see the play in his eyes.
Yeah, dude.
He could smell the blood in the. He could smell the blood in the water. You know what? You know why he went for the play?
Why?
It's because Bay is on the other team. You know.
Yeah. No, he got an in-game message from Bay like, "Hey, I'm watching."
It's like, Bay, I'm in the brush. Get over here. Get over here where no one can see us.
We gotta get in here. There's no one looking. And so he went for the play. It was a little too soon. His team wasn't just ready yet, but he still was able. They were able to pick up.
He went for the play for the Bay.
Oh, that was really close from Uklar. Just a little bit out of range.
Uklar just 100% unafraid to engage no matter what. Ooh, that was a really good seismic shove for the Taliyah, but it looks like nothing's going to quite come out of it. One Mystic shot from the Ezreal with that red buff puts Pickaxe down to about 80% health. Trundle gets caught up by the Impale there. Now Nautilus, but Uklar goes in.
Uklar
gets dismounted.
I think that's and yeah,
they're forced to back off here. Yeah.
And the Xyl has to go down. Now Azir is going to be looking for these pickup.
Yeah, you see now Uklar has the QSS also.
Now, if he would have seen Death there just a second ago, he would have made it to stream a shuffle into that.
They're looking for Skarner. Nope, looks like he's going to get out just fine.
They're just gonna clean up this jungle warding here.
Just walked right past him. Okay.
Yeah.
Just friendly howdy do.
Yeah, just hello.
Let the Skarner walk out. I think his camera might have been focused on a different area. Didn't realize.
Now I think they're gonna.
Azir wants this Shurima shuffle. Like he just.
Did you see that damage on the guy just with that little bit? Man.
I mean, Azir is just like he's a machine gun mage in a different way.
He is really ahead right now. He's really strong, and not to mention, like, you see the Ezreal 6-0-7. You see the Azir 3-1-9. You see the Trundle 6-1-9. The Azir and the Ezreal are really strong right now.
Yeah, the Azir, Ezreal, and Trundle, they're all doing their jobs incredibly well. Even despite the fact that Nautilus has 3 deaths, Rakan has 5 deaths. There's the QSS
good idea. And
but the front line is completely stopped up on the part of Rabid Raccoons. Like they're not able to get the Shurima shuffle in.
Yeah, and the Nautilus was caught under turret, and he got taken down.
Yeah, even though he got its depth charge up, there isn't really quite enough coming out there to help out. Like, I don't think Azir was able to get Shurima shuffle to push back. I'm fairly confident that even wouldn't have even been a good idea with the Taliyah wall at their back.
Yeah, they got. It was a really good because they forced them into that fight with that Taliyah ult. They were stuck in that little area.
It was a good Taliyah ultimate.
Yeah, it was really good. It forced them to fight right in front of that turret, and they were just stuck. So,
but you know what? You know what prevented that fight from being disastrous?
What's up?
The fact that Ezreal has QSS.
Yes, very much so. Because that Skarner went and tried to go for that flash ult, and he just QSS'd it right away.
Yeah, it's like instantaneously.
Like that's
Yeah, I know
all you have to do.
Like we're really caught up on this, aren't we? Like,
yeah, because it makes no sense not to get it. It doesn't. It really makes no sense.
I mean, what I will say is that, you know, sometimes when you're watching, you know, pro play for a league, you can kind of get carried away because you have access to vision that the teams don't.
Yes.
But in the case of the QSS, this was just something they could have worked with, okay? This is not even a question of vision or understanding macro play. It's just understanding how to build and how CC works.
It's simple. Like, you know the Skarner's gonna look for you. He knows you don't have QSS. Can't cleanse it, so he's gonna flash.
There's the engage. Yeah. I don't think it's gonna find anyone.
Nope, it's just gonna miss.
It doesn't. In fact, it goes in a really awkward spot.
I don't think. I think Rabid Raccoons are in a really bad spot here.
That's true. Ezreal's actually in a really Thug's getting kited out. He's gonna go down. There's the Shurima Shuffle that killed the Kled.
Oh, and there goes.
Now the Talia's down as well.
And the rest of
Square is, like, just running for the hills. I think that Raccoons just want to shove mid down right now.
Yeah.
Because Square is forced out.
Actually, no. They're gonna run top. Because they have the wave pushing in top lane.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to keep Nautilus mid to clear
Iglory still goes down to the Trundle. I'm not sure if Skarner can duel him in here.
Yeah, I think he can because there's no Trundle here. But
that's true. There's no...
I think what he was doing, I think he was just...
no, it's just disruption. He just wanted to stop their backs, and he did. Like, getting the kill onto Iglory is just icing on the cake there.
So they're just going to pick up an inhib from those kills.
This is a free inhib that's just going to start generating lane pressure for them to, like, look at Baron.
So really deep ult there from the...
Rakan dies for the inhibitor, but I think that's pretty worth.
That's worth it. It's definitely worth it. Now, they also got the Nautilus to push up that mid lane. So he was able to create the pressure so they could just be able to walk this one out.
Although with all the time that was spent getting all that done, I think you are looking at a situation where at least Square can get this Ocean Drake that's spawning. Yeah. Really passive Drake spawns this game.
They don't want any Infernals. They don't want
no Infernals, no mountains.
None of that.
Nothing that can make this game end any faster.
Right.
Because, you know, who needs sleep?
Yeah.
Anyhow, no. Like this has been really exciting.
Yeah, it's been really fun.
I think we maybe talk about, you know, how does Square make it back in. It's difficult. I think the answer, personally, try to find the Kled engage onto Azir, or really just engage on Azir, make sure they don't have that disruption tool via Shurima Shuffle, because it's really hard to get onto the Ezreal. Like,
yeah. But not only between that, the Ezreal, not just the Ezreal, the Azir also has a QSS.
So, yeah.
So really
this is just an incredibly hard game for Square to play out at the moment. Like, they need to find ways to force the QSSs, force them to back, try to take back some of the map in terms of vision and just in terms of pushing towers down. Because as you can see here, yeah, Square sent Saya once again. Like, Square sending their AD carry, their consistent source of damage, to respond to the super minion wave.
No, if Trundle would have gotten that pillar off there, that's a dead Kled again.
No, but this is just the free Baron.
Yeah, they're just the fact that they're consistently.
This is just the free Baron. Like, you see that North tried to get in there. Yeah, this is just.
Oh.
You see a ping going down in top lane because, like, Rabid Raccoons just want to end through there. It looks like they're just going to go mid. It looks like they're just going to try to go mid, clear bot lane out. But
yeah, and they're gonna send the Trundle and they're gonna send the Trundle to go do the dragon real quick. And they're just gonna push through the mid, get that mid inhib, and Trundle's probably gonna get sent to go deal with this lane pushing in bot lane. And
mid inhibitor tower is just going to melt. Talia ultimate going in to just dissuade them from the inhibitor grab. But I don't really think it does anything. Trundle on the Ocean Drake, the final dragon this game. Oh wait, it's going to be Elder because it's already 31 minutes in. But yeah, I just don't think that. I don't think that there's quite great ways for Square to get back in this game.
Yeah,
I think this is
what they really. I think what the way Square One could possibly get back into this match is they somehow find a way to catch the Ezreal, or they find a way to catch the Azir, or they somehow manage to get a really good fight in a small area, and they're able to catch one of them.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Like, I think that's the only avenue in, but, Ezreal and Azir always seem to be around somebody, and... Yeah.
And I don't think I've seen the Ezreal actually have to flash since, like, the early parts of the game.
I'm not sure. Did you ever see the Ezreal use teleport?
Oh, he was just too early.
Yeah, he was just too early.
Yep.
Well, I mean, this is like that condition for them to get back into the game that we were talking about.
Yep.
Unfortunately, they still have supers pushing in through topside, midsides are also getting pressured.
It was a really good pick. They got a little. They had them set up in the little cheese.
Personally, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure as to why Rabid Raccoons are trying to push in bottom lane without taking the inhibitor down first and mid. Like, I know that this inner tower here in bot lane is really low, but I would prefer to like pressure the mid inhibitor down.
I think they feel like they can just get it because they have the Baron buff and they can look at, because like if they keep
well no it got smited down. But as you were going to say, it's like you think with the Baron cannon minion they can just take it.
Yeah, I was just about to say it. They can just let it just shoot it off. But
there's the Ezreal TP coming in.
I think they can just get this now.
Yeah, this thing probably just needs one or two more autos. I don't know why Talia went in there.
Oh no,
that's really aggressive.
I don't think she.
I'm not sure if Talia intended to.
Yeah, I don't think she
to ride that.
Yeah, I would hope she didn't intend to ride that because she's instinct.
This is absolutely disastrous for.
Yeah, that mistake
for Square.
Lost them.
I think this is game. Yeah.
Yeah, they might just going in there.
Yeah, this looks like game. Well,
Oh. Yeah, Igor's gone. All right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's no respawn timers coming in time, so.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
EG's over to
Rabid Raccoons. They played the series out really well. Yep. They built properly.
Yeah. So there you have it.
Ultimately,
got the spot.
Ultimately, not counting if you played a pretty clean series. They definitely played out their snowball pretty well in the first game. Yeah. Things seemed to be at parity for a while, but the Ashe just outscaled, and here they just snowballed and won.
Yeah. They really played that well. They in the second game they really worked on their rotations and their macro play and the objectives, and they were able to get ahead really early, and they just snowballed it from there. And they were able to pick up and especially that last mistake really cost them. That wall ride actually just hurt them so bad there. I'm sure it was probably accidental, but it really
but it's those accidental things that can cost the game. I mean,
really,
Jensen, hello.
Just quick things like that. Just like one second mistake can really like change an entire game that quick. So.
Yeah, and I hope he doesn't take it too hard. Like that mistake might have ended the game, but they were already fighting really, really far back.
Yeah, they were already on the back foot.
Well,
yeah. So that's it for tonight. That is Rabid Raccoons taking it away with a 2-0 victory over Square One for the last spot in the
regular season
5 of Prophecy Cup. So it was fun. It was fun watching.
Yeah. It was fun to cast for the first time.
Yeah.
I think I really enjoyed it personally. I think that.
Good job, man.
Oh, thank you.
It was fun. It was fun casting with you. It was.
Yeah, it's fun casting with you too.
Get a room.
Yeah, and like you know what? It's a lot less. It's a lot less stressful to be watching and talking about the game than to be actually in the game.
You know what? Don't hate us for having a good time. Okay? All right.
All right, I guess that wraps it up here today,
right.
boys. Rabid Raccoons are going to be our 10th team in Prophecy Cup Season 5. Thanks for watching, and keep your eyes peeled for games starting as soon as tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow starts Season 5, I believe.
Let me check the schedule real quick. Okay, Friday. Friday is the earliest game we have scheduled so far. So we got Boy Click and Free TK on Friday.
All right, so Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it.
Be there or be square. Oh god.
Yeah.
Or be Square One.
No.
Well, that's why I said oh god.
That's not good. All right.
I took the fall for you guys. All right, I'm canceled.
Yeah.
We're good.
It's T Crank. We didn't say it.
All right. Good night. I'm out. Ending it.
Good night, guys.
Good night.